The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh has succeeded in driving Bruce Wayne from Gotham City. Now he's on his own. No allies, no weapons, and no hope. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop in the pages of Batman issue number 147 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we see that the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, no longer content with just brutalizing criminals and locking up all of Batman's rogues gallery, has decided to go full-on Dark Knight Christopher Nolan by using his advanced technology to essentially wiretap everyone in the entire city, greatly violating their rights to privacy, something that Damian Wayne, who is still very much in the employ of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, sees no problem with, because hey, it's a war on crime, right? And how are you supposed to win a war on crime if you don't commit a couple war crimes along the way? Keep this in mind because this will actually be important later. Now, elsewhere in the city, we check back on in with Vandal Savage, who it seems since last we saw him after his escape from the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh's prison has somehow managed to completely snow job Mayor Nakano into, get this, making him the brand new police commissioner of Gotham City. I mean, what? I get it, on one hand, Nakano has been shown to be nothing but an absolutely spineless bureaucrat, so obviously he would turn to a strong man who talks a good game like Vandal to try and protect him and by extension the city. But how does that work in terms of paperwork? How does one go out of their way to make an immortal caveman police commissioner? Then again, I suppose, how does absolutely anything work with Vandal Savage when it comes to paperwork? Well, some people are definitely happy about this new appointment, some are still pretty pissed off. Like Catwoman's old guild of thieves, who still have a lot of bad blood with Vandal, considering that he killed a bunch of their friends back during that Gotham War story. An assailant tries to assassinate Commissioner Savage, which wouldn't work because he has a healing factor and everything, but the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh steps on in to save him, showing that while he does not like Vandal, in his own twisted robot morality, he's still not ready to cross the line that would mean going to war with the police and the rest of the establishment. Again, remember, Zur-En-Arrh still very much thinks he's the good guy in this situation. And hey, speaking of bad guys who think they're the good guys, it seems that all of this spying within the borders of the United States has actually reached the ears of Amanda Waller. Say what? This Batman is illegally listening in on American citizens? Damn him, doesn't he know that's the government's job? Like everyone else too, the Wall can't seem to make heads or tails over whether or not the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh actually is the real Batman or some sort of pretender. Either way though, she wants to make contact, and soon. Now, where did Bruce get off to while all of this is going on? Well, he hit the road and hit it hard too. He knows full well that if Zur-En-Arrh is chasing him, and that if Zur-En-Arrh lived inside his mind, he's going to have to second guess and third guess himself if he ever hopes to escape, and because of that, Bruce's journey actually ends up taking him all the way to Happy Harbor, Rhode Island, and Mount Justice, a former base of operations for the Justice League, as well as several other super teams over the years. Batman's come to pick up some gear, and along the way he ends up reminiscing about a time when Barry Allen as a chemist actually assisted him in making his smoke bombs more potent. It's a nice little scene. And it ties into a much bigger theme this story is running with now, and that is that Batman never became Batman on his own. He's a pastiche of all of his adventures, all of his connections, all of his friends. And it's honestly kind of sweet. Later on, we see the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh take a meeting with Daniel Capito, and while it seems that Batman is afraid that he's being chased by his evil robotic doppelganger, Zur himself actually isn't giving much thought to Batman at all anymore, saying, hey, I've stolen his costume, his mantle, and even his son. What do I care if he's still out there? I was him and he was me, and he knows full well if he ever tries to come back to Gotham, I'm just going to take out my anger on the people he loves. Warden Capito, who again is basically the real mastermind behind all of this, is actually kind of surprised to hear Zur-En-Arrh talk like this, like so many supervillains before him who have underestimated Batman. Maybe this perfect Batman, this perfect machine, isn't nearly as perfect as it wants the world to believe, yeah? It's not long after that a vengeful Waller decides to take out her aggression on Batman's brownstone, sending an entire military hit squad to deal with this new Batman threat, only to be met by Damian, who takes them all out. This, of course, was a big smokescreen, as the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh managed to reverse this trap on Waller, instead coming to meet her outside the United States to lay down the law. Mess with me again, and next time I'll come with more of a warning. The weird part is that Waller actually seems to respect this new Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, how cold, calculating, but most of all, how thorough he is, kind of like Waller herself. She also says that while Batman won't cross the line today to pick a fight with the US government, or start an international incident, she knows it's only a matter of time before the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh ends up stepping over that line, and when he does, the Justice League and the other heroes will come for him, and he's gonna gonna need some friends. Which only makes sense because if you've been following Waller's adventures over in the Green Arrow book and in the Titans book, she's basically been doing everything in her power to try and poison the public's relationship to the superhero community, so to have a crazy zero-tolerance Batman running around really only ends up helping her cause. Now, we learned that Bruce Wayne's final port of call is actually the Wayne family cabin. Apparently, Thomas built this with his own two hands back in the day just to show that he wasn't such a pampered rich dude after all. Bruce had actually brought Tim to this place back in the day when he was beginning to doubt his own training as a Robin and his place within the Bat family. He wasn't some sort of trained acrobat or even some hardened street kid. He was just a mostly normal kid. Bruce talks about how he always respected Tim for knuckling down and really figuring it out, and if he's going to defeat the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, that's exactly what Bruce is going to have to do in the here and now, and he better hurry too. Because back in Gotham, Zur-En-Arrh is already moving ahead with the next stage of his plan, completing an entire crime-fighting army, one modeled after the Justice League, powered by state-of-the-art Amazo tech and piloted by different multiversal Zur-En-Arrhs that he had collected along the way. And wouldn't you know it, it's only right here, right now, does Damian finally start to see some red flags. Yeah, okay, you wouldn't have been collecting multiversal minds of Zur-En-Arrh if you weren't actually Zur-En-Arrh and not Bruce. What's really compelling about this exchange, though, is that the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh actually seems a little disappointed that Damian had turned against him. It's almost like he liked the idea of having a human connection, but that he'll still happily sever it all the same if it ends up getting in his way. And I mean, hey, it's not like he's going to be hurting for a sidekick, because as we had seen previously, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh had always planned for a Robin of Zur-En-Arrh. All he had to do was build one from the ground up, and I gotta say, I actually like his suit quite a bit. Oh, but we're not done with Robins yet, because Tim Drake proves that he really is one of the best detectives in the Bat family by managing to track Bruce down when no one else could. There's no doubt the problems they're dealing with are huge and ever mounting, but they're going to deal with this as they always do, as the dynamic goddamn duo. Bruce also takes this opportunity to apologize to Tim and confide in him about all the horrible things he did during Gotham War, how his mind was not his own, how Zur-En-Arrh was filling him with fear and doubt. Specifically, the fear of dragging everyone else down with him now that he's getting older and slower and not feeling like the Batman he used to be. Tim says that they all chose this life, and that they'll all happily see it to the bitter end with Bruce, again reiterating that Batman never became Batman on his own. He is the sum of many parts. Parts that are in need of an upgrade. As the comic comes to an end, we see Batman showcase a brand new suit that he hopes will give him the edge he needs in the fight against Zur-En-Arrh. And so that was Batman issue number 147, everyone, and overall I thought this issue was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. I think its biggest problem is that it kind of puts the main Chip Zdarsky story on the back burner for a bit, as they try and introduce the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh to a larger DC universe and plant seeds that I'm sure will end up being harvested in the events of Absolute Power, the next big DC mega event, which Zur-En-Arrh will be sticking around for. There's some good character moments here and there to be found. It's nice to see Bruce actually apologize for acting like a dick during the events of Gotham War. I'm glad Tim has actually circled back to being a major focus in the story, considering he was there in the beginning. And he was the whole reason Bruce got saved from the multiverse, so it's cool to see a little Batman and Robin in our Batman book. There's also a couple things that make me end up raising an eyebrow a little bit, like, really, Vandal Savage got made Commissioner of Police that quickly, and nobody had a problem with it, not even anyone outside Gotham City, when this guy is such a well-known supervillain. Like, I get it's supposed to be a bad choice because we're exploring the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh's morality and how it's black and white, to like a ridiculous fault that could only exist in a machine that couldn't grasp shades of gray. Likewise, Damian, who never figured out that Zur-En-Arrh was evil until like the last second. Again, it kind of fits with his character. He's always cultishly devoted to at least one parent in his life. But I mean, come on, cut the guy a little slack at least. Overall, I would give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's kind of the awkward middle child of this arc. I'm sure the next issue will be much better. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.